I welcome you, sir, to this third session of Young Members Mentorship Program. It's my privilege to introduce Sanjay Vastupal, sir. He is a FCA. He is in continuous practice since 1987. He is a gold medalist of being a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is also the associated member of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He is the member of AIPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountants, USA. He is CISA qualified. He is IFRS certified from ICAI. His outstanding achievements includes he was first in Gujarat and fifth in India in final chartered accountancy in November 1987. He was having an all India rank, rather first in Gujarat and 13th in India in intermediate chartered accountants examination 1986 as well. He has delivered many lectures and contributed many articles at various levels in chartered accountants, branches, associations, study circles, NABARD, IIM, and also contributed many articles in the newspapers. He is the faculty for certificate course of chartered accountants of banks and concurrent audit of banks, and also for GST by ICI. He has delivered more than 100 sessions across country, including Mumbai, Delhi, Pune, etc. With this brief note, I welcome Sanjay sir to this session. Now I request Managing Committee member Bishan Bhai and immediate past Chairman Bishan Bhai to felicitate Sanjay Bhai.
Good afternoon, friends, and very warm welcome. And I think we had a very good sessions, both one on the forensic auditing and another on the basic auditing. And I think it was a very nice discussion when some participant asked about the going on current issues in the auditing. And I would only say that very rightly, as described by everybody and Vikas Bhai and all, that auditing is now a specialized subject. I would say that not necessarily that all the chartered accountants should or can do the auditing. And the same way, if you look at it in a different way, maybe down the line, what will happen that this profession will also be rewarded very well. So it will go both the ways. The risk and reward always go together. So right now, today, many of young chartered accountants, you may have the feeling that the auditing is not that remunerative, probably, right? You may feel there is a lot of competition and it's not worth and why to carry the responsibilities for 10 years and all those. But friends, believe me, moving forward, there will be a very, very specialized demand for this kind of professional who are actually into the ethical and the standard-based auditing practices. And definitely the remuneration and volume will all go into the very much line with the efforts and all that. And as somebody rightly said that if you look at the advanced country, for example, US and all, most of the CPA firms get their revenues from the non-auditing practice. In fact, if you are aware, in US, the auditing is a very big thing actually. There the concept is like a compilation, a review, and then comes auditing. And believe me that the compilation itself sometimes is like what we do in auditing in India. In auditing here in India today, all the companies are mandatorily required to get the statutory audit done, right? I think in between there was a lot of talks going on whether it is justified or not. And a time may come that even in the all corporates, the audit may not be mandatory. It may be depending on the class of the company or depending on some criteria, So similarly in US also there are, like compilation, then comes a review. And then audit is a very big thing, which is a final authority. So probably we should be prepared that in India, same thing can come. So friends, today the topic given to me is on the faceless assessment. So why we started with the auditing? That the first and the foremost review of the audit, in the practical terms, will be done during the scrutiny assessment. All like NAFRA, our quality review, and everything will come. But the first test, what we call, that will be done during the scrutiny assessment. And today also many professionals feel that during the scrutiny, there are many questions being asked and many things being challenged. So, how to answer and how to develop the strategy. So, very rightly, I must compliment the branch that this topic has been chosen very carefully. And what are the avenues available for the young chartered accountants? So, friends, what is happening that in the earlier times, I would say that prior to, like in August 20, when our honorable PM introduced this faceless scheme, it was a physical interaction. Many of you might have gone during the articleship period to the income tax department. You used to present your case to the EO and then convince him, then take the adjournment, again go and all that, right? So now if you think prospectively and retrospectively, don't you think that there was a lot of scope for the personal preference, prejudice, bias, and many other considerations? So that is why the basic, the objective of the faceless assessment was the transparent taxation and honoring the honest. So the whole criteria was that you don't know to whom you are interacting. You are basically interacting with the system. So there is no scope for any of the preference, prejudice, or any other consideration overriding the document or the fact submitted, right? So now what happens that if you look at the key feature, see today I have divided my session into two parts, maybe 15-20 minutes will take into the faceless and another 15 minutes will go into the avenues and the future of the faceless, which I believe will be more interesting and appealing to all. So we'll just touch upon the background of the scrutiny faceless, like charter, then e-communication, then e-confirmation, e-verification, and increasing the accountability and promoting an efficient and effective tax administration. These are the basic feature of the faceless. So here what happens that it is not that only a big or a very like a recognized CA firm can go and represent the case. Today it doesn't carry any impact even if the drafting has been made by a junior chartered accountant or whether it is done by a senior chartered accountant. It will be evaluated on the merits and the contents and the manner of writing the answers. So it all depends how convincing or how justifiably you are presenting your case. And at the first level, when we speak of the assessment, it is the first level. So it is both way important with the fact as well as the law. If you are aware that maybe going forward, if you look at the NCLT or the our Income Tax Appellate Tribunal or the High Court, Supreme Court, they only deal with the matter of law and not with the matter of fact. But the first level assessment, it is both matter of fact as well as matter of law. So when you represent any case, please make sure that you are very well connecting your fact as well as the issues involved and what is being asked. So the faceless assessment, as we see that it cover all the assessment like regular scrutiny, based judgment, basically only three things are not covered. One is international taxation. Second is search and seizure cases, which will also include survey cases. And third, cases where there is a requirement of some sort of particular involvement or a need-based assessment. There is no discretion of an individual. You cannot find out who is the assessing officer and who is going to review it. Again, when you seek adjournment, when you ask for the extension of time, it will also be dealt by the system and it will be arguing. So this is the whole structure, how it works with the faceless assessment. See, there is a National E-Assessment Center, which is a centralized management of e-assessment proceedings, and there are four parts. One is the AU, which is called Assessment Unit. Then there is a VU, which is called Verification Unit. Then there is a Technical Unit, which is technically like legal, accounting and valuation part. Then there is a Review Unit, which will be reviewing. So each units, if you look at into the detail, AU shall make the assessment. So it will be asking for the clarification, detail, verification, all. Like they will ask you furnish the copy of the bank statement, confirmation, ledger account, justification and all that. Then the verification unit, they will do the inquiry, cross verification or the necessary in-depth examination of the books of account as may be required. Technical unit includes the legal, accounting, valuation, etc. like transfer pricing. Well, it is a technical aspect like valuation. If the assessment, there is a problem related to the valuation, then the AU will refer it to the technical unit. So technical unit will conduct their technical, evaluation and then submit the report back. And then comes final review unit. Not all the units, not all the assessment orders will go for the review unit, but some of the orders are subjected to the review units. We'll look into which are those. Now, if you look at the regional e-assessment centers, how they are comprised, one each PCIT stands for the Principal Commissioner of Income Tax, of AU shall have 4 range heads and each one with the SCIT, DCIT and 5 ITO. Then each PCIT of verification unit shall also have 3 regional head. Similarly, PCIT RU will have 3 regional head. Then technical unit also shall have 3 range head. So what will happen? Usually like Bombay, Delhi, Kolkata, Chennai, one like East, West, South and North will be the principal CIT, and then they have the entire organization and they as per the hierarchy. So how the notices are being issued in the faceless scrutiny? First, initial 143(2) notices are being issued for the selection of the cases, where what will happen that they will issue the notice to the SSE and SSE will respond within 15 days. Normally in the first notice they will intimate that your case is proposed to be selected for the scrutiny and some basic document will be asked for. Then step B, faceless assessments have been completed, where the return has been filed under 139, 141, 142 or no return has been filed, or not filed under 148(1) and 142(1) has been issued. So the third step, that National E-Assessment Center will assign the cases selected to the specific AU. Now it is again done through the automated allocation system. So it is absolutely random. So a case of Ahmedabad businessman may be assessed by a Guwahati person or a Chennai based person or a Gorakhpur based assessing officer, correct? So this is the typical peculiarity of this entire assessment. Now this being the typical feature, there is also a risk and the challenge that particular AO may not be aware with the local or the regional aspect or the complexities of the business involved. So that is why when you respond to the faceless assessment, one has to be very careful that you need to narrate and explain the entire, what we call as the ecosystem or the local important factor which affect the scrutiny of your case. Please don't take anything for granted. Don't assume that the other person will be aware. Suppose if some person is, in the area which is, having a totally backward, say no electricity, no internet, and probably he can't assume that the person sitting in Bombay can visualize a situation and how the business is conducted. So during this faceless assessment, you have to justify, you have to explain the circumstances under which the business is being operated. Then the activities done by the AU will depend on how the case is being done. So they will ask for the additional information. Some, usually when the case is selected, it is identified that what is the major issue, like some expenditure being, on a very higher side, or revenue being suppressed, or some major treatment of the accounting principle not being matching. So based on that thing, AU may ask for the additional information from the SSC, and then what will happen? See, AU will never directly communicate to the SSC. The beauty of the scheme is that AU will send those details to center, National E-Assessment Center, and then in turn the center will assign the same. One, if it is a matter pertaining to the detail, it will go to the SSC, that please furnish the detail within so and so time. And here let me tell you, if you are aware, the time given is now very short. Usually what you observed, it is 3 to 4 days only. So please be prepared. Don't expect that you will get 10 days, 15 days of time. And here, because it is system driven, the window will automatically get closed. When I say window, if many of you may be aware, what happens that, the time limit for submission of response, it is called a window. So you can upload your reply onto the portal only for that particular cutoff limit. If you miss that opportunity, then you cannot, because that will say that, submit the response button will be disabled. So you cannot submit the response, correct? So then what will happen, whatever information or document available on record will be used and the best judgment assessment can be made. So this is very important that you must reply. If not, please ask for the adjournment before the closure of the window time. Because even if you ask for the extension, there we have to, some reply will come. They might give you 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, but at least you will get a time to respond during that period. If the detail pertains to some, verification, or then it will go to the verification unit. If it is pertaining to some technical, like legal, some valuation or some merger or some technical part, then it will go to the technical unit. Then same way, chronologically the detail will come. Like SSC will submit the detail to the national center only. The VU will submit their report to the center. Technical unit will submit report to the center. So please understand, even the TU and the VU do not know who is the AU. Correct? So there is no possibility of anything being, what we call it a collision or any information going hand to hand or getting together. Then in turn the center will forward the information to AU, because only center knows that who is the AU for that particular case. And then again, if there is no response received, then center will issue the show cause notice, that why your case not should be decided based on the document available, and then accordingly it will be finalized. Then the draft assessment order stage will come. So usually what will happen, the assessment unit will prepare the draft assessment. It will submit it to the center. It will not go directly to the SSC. Now center has a risk management strategy. What is that risk management strategy? I will explain you. See, there are 3 criteria for the risk management. 1, to ensure that the cases which are selected are investigated properly. Second, to avoid high pitch assessment. Do you understand what is high pitch addition? Like in many cases, very unduly high amount of additions are made. So to avoid that situation and the hardship to the SSC. Then third, whether the required additions, what are the required additions which are identified initially at the time of issuance of the notice are made or not. So these are the risk management criteria. If any of the 3 criteria fails, or if the center feels that something is missing, they will refer it as cases to the review unit. So what will happen? Then the review unit will be again doing their work. Now assuming that the review unit has done the work or given the report, then this draft assessment order will go to the center, and center will finalize the assessment, make the computation, initiate the penalty proceeding, etc. Or if there is any additional information or addition which is prejudicial to the interest of the SSC, so in order to give a justice or a natural, what we call a right of opportunity to the SSC, center will again issue the show cause notice that following additions are being proposed to be made in your case, please explain why this should not be made. So there is an opportunity given to the SSC to explain or rebut the same. And basically, then after the final order will be completed, and post completion of the SSC, all the electronic record will be transferred under the Act. So even they will not remain with the AO. They will be going into the storage, which will be like a electronic storage somewhere, and only very limited access will be available. Now, taking a case that where a SOCOS notice has been issued for the proposed modification, then again what will happen? SSC has a right based on the natural justice to ask for the personal hearing request, because there is no face-to-face interaction. Again, personal hearing request, when it is asked by the SSC, it will go to the center. Center will not decide on its own. Center will forward it to the concerned CCIT or the DGIT for the necessary approval or otherwise. Now, if they will approve, there will be a video conferencing. So, personal hearing is done by video conferencing. So, there is not one-to-one. Even in video conferencing, you cannot see the face of the other person. Basically, it is like you get an opportunity to orally explain your case. Don't expect that the other person will ask you and you have to reply. So personal hearing is, like most of the times, basically an opportunity given to consider that the request given by the SSC and the opportunity to present the case what he could not justify or communicate in writing. And in case where personal hearing is not granted, then it will be finalized based on the response furnished by the SSC. Again, if the personal hearing request is asked for and not granted, it can be in favor of the SSC during the course of hearing at the tribunal of the High Court level. So please keep it in the mind, where you feel that there is going to be huge addition, always make it a point to ask for the personal hearing. And during the course of personal hearing, please be very prepared and make your statement and just present your case from zero to end without expecting the response from the other end, because it will be on record. Everything is recorded. The other part of the Faceless is the e-appeal scheme, which is introduced in July 2023 in order to reduce the burden of the CIT appeal. Up till now, prior to July 23, what was happening, that all the appeals were handled by the CIT appeal. Usually when the commissioner gets the posting, usually first they get the CIT appeal posting. So, lot of cases were pending. Even today you would have seen that the assessment year 17-18 appeal cases are pending. In fact, in today only in media, I believe in Gujarat Samachar or some other media, there is an article that lot of complaints are coming and concerns are there, lot of uproar going on, that appeals are not being disposed of in a timely manner. 4 to 5 years it takes, and what happens when you file the appeal, SSC has to pay at least 20% of the amount of the demand. So SSC is already out of the liquidity, number one. Secondly, there is a continuous meter of interest going on, penalty and also consequences, and lot of uncertainty, mental harassment and the anxiety. So what happens that usually as per the time frame it should be done in a period of 1 or 2 years, but presently there is a lot of backlog. So in order to cover that, department has empowered Joint Commissioner of Income Tax Appeals, which are one level below CIT appeal. So certain types of appeal can be disposed of by the GCIT also, and they are also coming into the faceless part, whereby there is no interaction. In appeals, there can be both the possibility. Even today, there are many appeals which are personally being handled and heard by the CIT appeal. You also get the name in the notice and the detail and the time and etc. What are the cases which comes before JCIT? 201, 206C, then chapter 21 and 154, 155. Cases will come What cannot come is the international taxation. Obviously, it being a specialized and it will require the personal hearing. Then order passed before August 20. So they don't come into the faceless era. Then again, any action taken like search and survey or any addition which is proposed to be made on the basis of the seized or the impounded material, they don't cover or fall into the scope of the GCIT appeal. Then same way, the cases where the amount of addition made is more than 10 lakhs, they also don't come on the faceless. And central circle, usually you know that central circle deals with the cases of the survey. So wherever there is a survey case, it doesn't qualify for the faceless. Now, there is some challenge also, like one that no template, because it is again a trial and error method, comparatively new. So there are a lot of teething issues, a lot of things are going on, and there may be an inefficient and rigid taxpayer assessment process, There is no uniformity, no standardization, what process is being followed. If somebody is, it depends on a matter of chance. Any assessing officer is not that knowledgeable, may simply make a high pitch addition because of he is not able to understand the case. And on the other part, a genuine case where a lot of additions were required may go unnoticed. So these are the challenges actually. Now one important and interesting thing that recently, few days before, the matter came up before Supreme Court, where it was a appeal filed by Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi and Vadra, an AAP member, that they wanted that to be faceless. However, the center said that it will go into the particular central circle assessment only. So they had filed that it should be a matter of right and their case should be going through the faceless. However, Supreme Court made an observation that it is not a matter of choice or a right to the SSC, right? It is up to the system, the department, to decide that what cases will fall into the faceless and what will not fall into the faceless. SSC cannot go and demand that I want to go for the faceless. If the department decides that yes, it will be faceless, it will be faceless. If the SSC doesn't accept, SSC can at the most ask for the personal hearing through video conferencing. Now, so this was the technical part of the scrutiny proceedings. Then now we come to the future of the faceless assessment, which is as we know that AI, artificial intelligence, business intelligence will play the major role. So even today, what is happening is that a lot of data is already there with the department. Probably the focus is being shifted from the year-based scrutiny to the transaction-based inquiries. Today you may be aware that lot of e-campaigns are going on. Many of your clients would be receiving high value or the significant transactions inquiries. Usually they receive the SMS in the mobile at 12 midnight and they are expected to reply. So you have to log in into the portal. Your SMS will only say that you have some high value transactions which you need to respond. So then you have to log in into the portal and then there is a mechanism whereby you can find out that which are the transactions which are reported. Again, there can be two categories. One, that they will say that a reply is expected and other categories are optional. So where the reply is expected, usually they will expect that the SSC will reply. So there are 4-5 categories. One, information is correct. Second, information is wrong or denied. Third, information pertains to the other PAN number. Correct? So, and information is partly correct. So what happens that you have to be very careful. If you say information is correct, primarily that means it is your obligation to correctly treat that information into the computation of income. Like sale of the shares, purchase of motor car, purchase of the share, foreign traveling, many transactions are covered, purchase of high value property. So then obviously it is expected that yes, if you feel that is a misreporting, it happens. Sometimes even the sub-registrar office, they do the mistake in reporting. What is commonly observed is that there are multiple reporting. So 3 times, 4 times. So if you purchase a property of let's say 3 crore, then it will be reported 3 times. So your 26 AS, AIS, TIS will reflect that you have purchased a property is worth 12 crore. So if you feel it is a wrong, you have to select very carefully the option that it is a repeated information, duplicate information. So you can say that I have purchased one property of 3 crore, others are duplicated. If you say it pertains to the other PAN, it happens mainly, any idea when it can happen? Perfect. The most common transaction is that like husband and wife joint account. If they purchase the property, share, any high value transaction, then either by mistake or sometimes bank may have only the PAN number of the wife or husband. So that way it will be reported in the PAN number of a joint holder and the transaction actually belongs to the other holder. So there like husband is the first holder and is responsible and wife is a second holder. In both the cases the transaction may be reported or only in the case of wife. So there you have to log in to the wife portal and say that the information pertains to my husband and you have to give the PAN number of the husband also. So it is quite logical. Merely saying that it pertains to somebody else will not solve the purpose because that will immediately go to the other person's portal and he has to respond. If he doesn't respond, say for example the husband doesn't agree, doesn't accept, then it will come back to the wife portal. And then either you have to prove that was a mistake of reporting by the bank. So these are the transaction based proceedings which are also very integral part from the year based scrutiny after 2-3 years. These are the real time. Usually a time will come when you purchase a car, high value car, and you go out of the showroom. Before you reach your home, you will receive an SMS that there is high value transaction reported. Kindly confirm. So nothing wrong about it. In fact, in a way it is good because at that time you are very much into the mood and you are aware that how you have purchased, what are the sources, what are the documents, and then you can reply immediately. Nothing wrong about it. So moving forward in the faceless also the AI will play a major role. The data. Secondly, important part is that the industry comparison can be done very easily. Say at the local level, for example, if it is Ahmedabad, the EO will have one case of diamond merchant. After half an hour, some grain merchant will come. After half an hour, some local trader will come. Then some vendor of scrap will come. So what happens? It is very difficult for a person to keep on changing dynamism of the different industry. Using the AI, what will happen? The center can centralize the cases in a way that particular AU is fully equipped with the particular ins and outs of that industry. Suppose let's say diamond industry. So the AO or the AU which is going to assess the diamond industry case is fully aware about the industry average, peer comparison, what is actually happening with the other companies of the diamond trade, and accordingly they can finalize and find out. Say the most common example is the gross profit. They know what is the GP across the industry, what is the average, what is the turnover trend, like globally if there is a recession, everything comes down. It may not happen with, say for example, gold jewelry. So these are the advantage of the AI. So when it will come, probably, the assessment will be very much on a realistic basis. Then multiple AI algorithms will be used, and it can be like in the same year, without waiting for the historical data, they can find out that how many of real estate business have increased the price, made the profit or whatever. Time series analysis also will come. Comparative analysis will be done, based on the assessor's own past year with the peers of the same industry, and again intra-industry and within the economy as well. So that will give the holistic picture of the industry. And security measures, more and more privacy, data, secrecy, and everything will be there. So global accessibility, continuous monitoring will be there. Here it is very easy to monitor because everything is on system. So it is very much possible to complete the assessment on time. Then the design can be very ethical and inclusive, whereby you can then augmented reality assessments, where the real world scenarios will be captured. Blockchain or the credential verification will be very much fast, very much reliable. Say for example, today asking for the bank statement will be redundant tomorrow, because all the bank would have already uploaded. So there is no need for the AU to ask for the data of the bank statement from the SSC. Instead of asking, they will immediately cross check whether this particular transaction is reflected in the bank account, because there is a lot of data available, correct? So don't expect that it is only the SSC who can furnish the details, and the data can come from all the sources actually. So friends, this is the presentation, and I believe within the given time I was able to finish. Any question or anything in this particular area, please feel free. So when there are no questions, I assume that all of you are fully and very much expert in this area, and I wish all the best, and thank you very much all of you. I also thank the branch to having given the opportunity, and all the best to all the young professionals. Thank you.
So ladies and gentlemen and esteemed guests and fellow members and dear speaker CA Sanjay Vastupal sir, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for enlightening us today, navigating the future with Faceless Assessment to the Young Member Mentorship Conclave 2024. His insights have undoubtedly provided the valuable perspective guiding us the dynamic landscape of the taxation in the Indian economy that is going to shape the future of our chartered accountants going ahead. We are truly privileged to have the benefit from your expertise, sir. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and helping us to chart a course towards a successful future. Thank you.